playoffs and getting D'Angelo Russell, which in this deal, D'Angelo Russell had to move on and be traded to the Golden State Warriors in this whole deal to get Kevin Durant. But it could possibly be in 2020 that the Nets are on the incline and the Celtics are on the decline. And all the Celtics have is one appearance in the Eastern Conference Finals. All those assets, all those moves that they turned down, all the positioning that the Celtics had made may be all for naught. Al Horford left. He went to the Philadelphia 76ers. Obviously, Kyrie's gone. And Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, he's gone as well. But they did pick up one, Kemba Walker, as a free agent. And now, for me, and I said this before, I think I was on my man Mo Cheese, Fish and Grits, but, Fish wasn't there, but the Grits Country Road Show, I was telling them about this about Kemba Walker, is that I like Kemba Walker. I love Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker, you can't say anything bad about Kemba Walker, so, I'm not. He is, a tear down from Kyrie Irving. But with the other pieces that Boston lost, they are a second-round team. Let's just say that. I can't see them getting out of the first round. You're going to be expecting guys like Jaylen Brown and Tatum to take the next step that you want them to in that whole maturing and maturation process. And you're going to hope that you get Gordon Hayward back to what he was before he had came there when he was in Utah. So, they're not going to be just, a team just desperate to get into the playoffs. They will make the playoffs, but I don't see them getting past the second round with the nucleus that they got now. They will always compete. They will always be in the mix. They will always be in conversation. But this is not about being in the mix and being in a conversation. This team was supposed to be setting up, for a long run of dominance in the Eastern Conference and be the team that everyone had to be, especially with LeBron leaving, and that did not happen. And now you lose a guy in Rozier who wanted, obviously to play more minutes. He felt he was a starting, point guard. You lose Kyrie Irving. That relationship probably really wasn't the best anyway. He didn't want to go there in the first place. He was traded there, so let's not forget that. And now you got a guy that you did pick up when he was the key acquisition in free agency the year he was available. And Al Horford, now he's going on to the Philadelphia 76ers. So the Boston Celtics are, I think they're in a bit of a pickle, if you will. I think they took a step back. I don't think they took any major step forward. Not a major step backward, but I do think they didn't progress forward in what they were trying to do with this team. And still, it will be a building process. So Danny Ainge got a little work ahead of him. I'm sure he's trying to work out something to get, some other players in there. And it just takes one. It just takes one to go with the team that they got, and then they'll be right back in the mix. So I brought up about Al Horford and him going to the Philadelphia 76ers. I didn't expect that. I thought he would probably go west. I thought he might give the Lakers a shot and give them a discount. But Al said no. That's why I opted out. I think this whole thing, he was probably going to look at re-signing with Boston so he could get his last big contract, if you will, long-term deal. And then ride off into the sunset, if you will, slowly but surely. But something happened. Something happened with that process as they were, I guess, trying to finalize stuff, and he just decided, I'm going to move on. And now he moves on to a team with the Philadelphia 76ers, which is a really young team, and he's going to be teamed up with Tobias Harris, that he got re-signed. And shouts out to Tobias Harris for getting his money. He betted on it himself. I think a lot of people question him not accepting a deal, and he opted out of his, I think he opted out of his last year's contract, or no, he just didn't re-sign with the Clippers. And people thought he was crazy for not doing that. And he said, hey, I believe in myself. I think I can go out here. I know I can go out here and get a better deal. And he obviously did. But back to Al Horford. So he joins this team with Tobias Harris, with Ben Simmons, with Joel Embiid. So you have a nice nucleus team. I think more than anything, with them getting Al Horford, he gives them that other option for, one, Ben Simmons and his lack of an outside game offensively, if you will. But he doesn't necessarily give him that over the hump, because depending on what happens with Kawhi Leonard, you got to worry about that situation. But then you also got to worry about Milwaukee. And Milwaukee having Giannis getting better. Joel Embiid will get better. Obviously, you hope Ben Simmons will get better. Like I said, Al Horford is a nice addition to this team. He will help out this team. He will help out any team that he goes through. So it is a good move. It is a good look for the Philadelphia 76ers. But more than anything for that team, they're going to have something more out of, and I know this is probably crazy saying that he just went to an All-Star game, but they're going to have to have more out of Ben Simmons. So there's a lot of other free agency news that went out there. We know Chris Middleton got re-signed. Malcolm Brogdon got traded to the Indiana Pacers. Dame Lillard got an extension. Who else was out there? There's Jimmy Butler. He went to Miami. I know Mocha Bella is happy about that. I like that move for the Heat. I just was surprised a little bit that Jimmy wanted to go there, because they won't be competing right away. But obviously he sees something in that team that is telling them that they're going to build towards competing for a championship. So I do like him going there. And like I said, with KD there, and now on the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference, everything seems to have leveled itself off, ladies and gentlemen, just the way LeBron planned it. And you won't have this, I guess you really don't have this big three, this super team, if you will, that's really out there, unless, something happens with the Lakers. And then, of course, we'll be talking about that. But we're going to be talking about the Lakers anyway, just with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So I love how free agency played out. I love that, some teams got some pieces that they didn't think that they were going to get, or people didn't think they were going to get. And again, it leveled off everything. It always comes back around. A lot of people complain about the Warriors and all that stuff. But it normally works itself out. So in the Wait a Minute Show chat room, Mac Farrell said Hassan Whiteside got traded to Portland. Were they trying to, I think as soon as 6 o'clock hit, the Miami Heat probably sent out an email to everyone and said Hassan Whiteside is available for trade. That did not work out for the Miami Heat. And they had some issues there, and I guess maybe a new, and this is going to sound cliche, but maybe a new setting, a new environment does something different for Hassan Whiteside. But it seemed like he was going to be a staple there, and something happened, through that transition of him getting that contract and I guess the direction that the team was going, what they wanted to do, playing him in minutes and all that stuff. But he's gone. He's gone. Now, I did say earlier I was going to talk about the Knicks. And the Knicks, and I'm not really going to go off and go crazy, but that whole thing about the Kevin Durant, this is what I'm going to say about it. I'm not, I put out there, they done lost 3 times. And it was the Zion thing, the Kyrie, and now, KD thing. So with the KD thing, this is what I'm going to say about the KD. This is how I'm going to look at it. The Knicks, the reason that the Knicks look bad in this whole situation, it's really just because of the offer. That's it. It's just because of the offer. If you didn't get KD, I would have just said, look, Kyrie, work that out, or DeAndre Jordan, they both convinced KD to go to Brooklyn. But you cannot, there is no way, If this man opted out of $31.5 million, you cannot think that you want to offer him something other than the max. And if he didn't want to take it, then you're like, well, hey, we were skeptical about the injury. We were skeptical about the injury. I've heard people say, well, you got to remember, the Knicks have been burnt by this of other players that had injuries. And I get it. Amari Stoudemire and all, some other Knicks that have come through there with injuries. And the Knicks have paid them and they got criticized. But none of those players that have come through there that they were talking about paying or that they did pay ever was a top 2, top 3 player in the world. There is nowhere, if that was the only reason, and I don't think it is, I think it was other pieces there. I think if they even had offered him the max deal, I think KD still would have went to Brooklyn, and I would have just said, hey, look, they talked him in, Kyrie enticed him, whatever that he had to, and he decided to go there. That was his choice. But just not to have, but to have out there that you didn't even have the max on the table. Again, $31.5 million. There is no way KD opts out of $31.5 million if there was any type of a possibility of him not getting a max. He knew he was going to get a max from someone. You knew that was the going rate. You knew not to show up with anything less than a max. And then the story comes out about, you guys not having max. That's not really the story. The story is that why didn't KD choose New York? I don't think it was really the max. The max, I think, really put them just out of the question. But I think even if it was them offering the max, it would have been something else. Why didn't KD go to New York and play for the Knicks? And he went to Brooklyn instead. I just think the Knicks and Knicks fans are over this, and I feel sorry for them because they have been craving, to have a superstar in there. But I think Knicks officials and everything, it's time for them to get over the whole thing of there is no glow about the city of New York anymore. Not like it used to be. History has shown that. So it's not me hating on New York or anything like that. New York offers this tremendous media and branding and all the other stuff that come with New York. LeBron's been a free agent twice. 3 times. Actually, I'm sorry. He went to the Heat, then he went back to Cleveland, then he went to LA. He has been a free agent 3 times. And hasn't even granted the Knicks an interview. KD. When he went to OKC, when he went from OKC to Golden State. It's not what it used to be. And you got to figure out something. You got to figure out another angle. Because trying to just use the city and just say, oh, you get to play in the mecca of basketball. Well, guess what? They're winning championships in other countries now, New York. Okay? They're winning championships in other countries. You're falling behind. You got to figure out something else. You got to come different. You got to come with a different angle. New York is not just selling you. What you gonna say? Hey, there's Diddy. No, Diddy is not there. There goes Spike Lee. Spike Lee is always there. Spike Lee is gonna be there if Bernard King comes back. He's always gonna be there. So they just got to do something different. That's it. So free agency, I'm done. At least talking about all the free agency that went down in the past. We're going to talk about some of the free agency that is still on the loom, and that is Kawhi Leonard. So Kawhi has not made his decision yet as far as like who he was going to play or who he's going to play for. Now it is down to 3 teams, the Lakers, the Clippers, and Toronto. And it may be down to 1 team either later tonight or early tomorrow, because rumors are is that Kawhi is going to make a decision tomorrow for the 4th of July on where he's going to go. There's been some speculations as well about where his whereabouts is. Someone is saying that they think they saw him